Here's a bow tie for your brain. Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire can teach us about the social messaging of Gothic literature. Let's untie it. Olivia Rodrigo recently released Vampire, the first single from her sophomore album Guts. In the song, the term vampire is used to refer to a man who targets and dates women much younger than himself, as evidenced by Rodrigo singing, "'Cause girls your age know better." This line claims that the man in question chose to date a younger woman in Rodrigo because the women his age are not as easy to fool as young victims. Another line that stood out to me was the line, "You only come out at night," which draws a connection between a vampire's need to stay out of the sun and a predatory man's desire to act in the shadows due to his taboo behavior. This made me realize that Rodrigo is not just using a vampire as a social metaphor, but is doing so in exactly the same way that Gothic literature originally used these kinds of monsters. In much of Gothic literature, the big scary monster is actually a representation of a social taboo or threat that concerned Victorian citizens. In Robert Louis Stevenson's Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Mr. Hyde represents the immoral men who, at night, would engage in all the pleasures that Victorian men were expected to repress. While most people know Mr. Hyde for his callous murders, which do occur, much of his alluded to crimes are simply going to taboo locales or keeping the wrong company. Meanwhile, the titular vampire in Bram Stoker's Dracula has been interpreted as representing the fear of foreign men threatening the purity of British women. As prejudiced an attitude as that is, it was one held by many Victorian men and women, and we see it in Dracula, where every female character is put at risk of becoming victim to Dracula. Dracula acts with a sensual charm, and the primary threat of the novel is Dracula leaving his home country to come to England. So the next time you're reading, watching, or listening to a story about a monster, consider what aspect of society it might be meant to represent, and maybe even what attitudes of the author it might betray. This episode of Bow Ties for Your Brain Shorts was written and presented by Jacob Taylor. Video editing was completed by Jacob Taylor using DaVinci Resolve. The theme tune is Bright Wish by Kevin MacLeod.